Hello, my name is Duke and I am Sailing Magic. I had to change the name of my channel to Sailing My Magic because there were too many channels with sailing and magic in the names. I wasn't coming up on the searches. Magic is my 2015 Lagoon catamaran that I plan on sailing around the world. So one of the sites that I went to see was the Fort Frederick, which is up on top of the hill in Grenada. It's an interesting fort. Different portions of it were built at different times. You have to take a little drive through the countryside and through the city both to get up there. It's pretty much in the middle of St. George's. Got a spectacular view when you get up there, although it was a little bit cloudy that day. This gate was built in 1791. Other portions of the fort were built in 1760 or thereabouts. The French took back the fort from the British in 1778. So when you go up here, there's a flat grassy area. Those arches over there are considered the chapel. I'm sure they could have services there, but it was also a place for speaking. Here's that tunnel that goes through to the gunpowder. Now this is a reactive plant. When you touch it, the plant moves and folds up. Now Fort Frederick is considered the backwards fort because the ports, the openings for the cannon, don't aim towards the bay like in most forts. They aim towards this valley looking at a bay far away at the other end of the island because that was the direction the French came. They snuck across from over by St. David's Bay. And St. David's Bay is the area that I'm anchored in. Now one of the places to go is up on top of the volcano. There's the Moana monkey there. You can have it climb on you, and the guide that's there will give it bits of banana. Interesting monkeys. They didn't, even though it's a wild monkey, it didn't seem overly rambunctious. It knew what was wanted when you put your hands out or whatever. You can't really pet it or anything. It didn't like that. But it knew the signal to climb up on people. So this is the road that goes down into the caldera, the cauldron of the volcano. And that volcano hasn't erupted in a little while, so there's a lake there at the center of the volcano. Now the lake is connected to the ocean by some underwater tunnels formed by pockets in the lava. But it's an interesting lake, pretty good size. It has some marsh reeds around the edges of it, and when you get there and you get out, there's some interesting things to see in the water too. Because this connects to both the ocean and the fresh water that's collected from rainfall, the lake has in it red snapper and carp like goldfish, koi that the Chinese dropped in there, and a lot of tilapia. So if you throw a little bread into the water by the edge there, thousands or hundreds of fish come swarming in like little piranha. I mean, it's amazing. You can see there some of the red snapper and koi and stuff have the orange and different colors on them. Really energetic fish. Now, one of the other things that I went to go visit was Annandale waterfall. It's about a 35-foot waterfall set back. Now, there is a restaurant there and some other entertainment facilities, but it's a beautiful little waterfall. Now, I was running kind of hard at this visit. I had visited it once before, but we had just had a heavy rain, and that put a lot of water coming down the waterfall, so it was kind of shooting out more than usual. I think it stays running all the time, though. This is the Diamond Jouvay cocoa plantation that they do chocolates. There I was getting a chocolate and banana shake. That was a cacao pod. It's an interesting island over there, and that's what you get typically from a volcano, a cinder cone that goes up in a pyramid shape. Now, this was checking out the Sulphur springs. The gas bubbles up through the water. Now, there's several different stages of it. If you want to take a dip in it for the health benefits, there's sulfur mud in the bottom of this one. You can do a mask on it or rub it on you. This particular one you can't climb into because you might die in there, but there's a bucket you can pull out the sulfur water and use that to wash down. This was from the Rivers Estate Rum Brewery, distillery. It has the old original equipment from the 1700s. I believe this was started around 1740. So they harvest the sugar cane, burn some of the places they burn the leaves off, others they strip them off. It's thrown into this conveyor belt. The guy's just demonstrating it at the moment. And it goes through a crusher and spits out the waste product there. There's the crusher. So the juice goes into the tanks, and then they heat up the tanks and get some fermentation going. And later on they heat it up in other tanks to get the distillation going. I'll show you that in a moment. For right now, these are the fermenting tanks. And the guy here is moving the stuff out of the fermenting tank to one of the distillation tanks. Like I said, this is all done the same way they did it back in the 1700s. And they make two kinds of rum here. One is 69% alcohol, which is 138 proof. And the other one is 75% alcohol and up. You cannot take the 75% alcohol and up on mass transportation like airplanes and boats, so they usually don't sell it to tourists. These are the more modern tanks, but they do everything by hand here, including how they keep track of it. They just write it in chalk on there. There's no computer monitoring, anything like that. These are the distillation tanks and the condensing tanks. After the steam comes through, it's condensed in here. And that device is how they measure the amount of alcohol. That's one of the bottling machines. They do one bottle at a time. Put the label on. Now that's a bottle of 138 proof Rivers Rum. Pretty strong stuff. The point is the journey and exploring, and then having your little touch of rum, sundowners drink.